We have stupid. We have peak stupid. It's happening. This is when dumb reaches an artistic level. I'm fascinated by this. So we've been talking a little bit about Musk and Tucker Carlson and the whole like how clever people appear smart to dazzle stupid people, which is effectively what's going on in that. And it and I this is listen to this. Twitter Files Journo reacts to Elon Musk interview with Tucker Carlson. Sounds off on the story. It's relatively short. Should be kind of pain free. I hope. Anyways, I always like secondhand dumb, so let's do it.
Journalist Matt Taibbi, one of several reporters that Elon Musk handpicked to report on the Twitter files, and then we all watched as he testified in front of Congress about this issue. Matt, great to have you with us today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
So, I guess first your reaction just as an American when you listen to the...
Yeah, as an American who lived for 7 years in Russia and started a zine about expats where you crassly sexually harassed the women in the office, and as an American,
this scary stuff about AI's ability to clone your family members' voices, and to the point where you think you're talking to them and they've been abducted.
Well, no, obviously limited responses.
It's very scary. I think the Twitter Files experience has also conditioned me to be very worried about the possibilities of mixing AI.
Yeah, bro, like the things you could do, like the potentials for a lot of potential things that could happen, like and the fact that they tie back to the thing that I'm currently selling on my Substack, which I have it's excellent. I have a magazine called The Racket, and I unironically not recognized how it's the only thing that could make me seem even more full of shit. So excellent, really excellent.
With censorship, which I think is in the works as well. I think a lot of these anti-disinformation, sort of civil society organizations are trying to find ways to use machine learning to more quickly clamp down on speech, and I think that's a major worry from where I sit.
Yeah. So in a story where people are using AI to fake the voice of someone and make people pay a ransom for an abducted relative that isn't abducted and conceivably could, I suppose, be reached on their cell phone at some point. In a story about that, his thing is that I'm actually worried about anti-disinformation people using AI to scan Substack to make it to let everybody know that you use ChatGPT to write most of your shit, and you don't fact check, much less spell check it. Is that the worry?
It's a huge worry, and it's
huge.
Struck me just as all of this has been coming into greater awareness, I think, over the course of the last couple of months for most of the country.
Greater awareness. It's happening. This didn't happen 8 years ago, and we didn't realize how AI has just taken over. Moron, there were 4 programs on Futurepedia in November. There's hundreds now. It's not coming into awareness. It's in process, stupid.
But it strikes me in thinking back to the Twitter.
Why is ChatGPT beating this woman? It's just wrong. It struck her twice, by my count, in the last 2 minutes.
Files. That was one level of algorithm and manipulation. And this takes it to a whole nother level that's even beyond that. So it's like that was...
This is, yeah. Do you guys, anybody need a break? Sometimes, if the techno babble comes too hot and heavy, let me know, because I'll slow down. I suppose I could slow down her speech. Let's see. Settings. Playback speed. Let's see. Let's This would probably make it easier. So, a lot of what she's saying, it's got. I mean, it's rough. So.
On that, so it's like that was the first stage. Here's Elon Musk talking about the government's ability to manipulate and to get into even.
I'm sorry, I can't do this all fucking day. I'm sorry, you're just all gonna have to listen at normal speed, no matter how technical she gets. It can't happen. All right.
Even direct messages between people. Watch this.
The degree to which
Also, what the fuck does that have to do with AI, dummy? All right, anyways, whatever.
various government agencies had effectively had full access to everything.
Yes, if they get a warrant, effectively. Do they have full access? No, they effectively do if they get a warrant, which is true of most things.
That was going on Twitter blew my mind. I was not aware of that.
Would that include people's DMs?
Yes.
That's pretty heavy duty, though, because a lot.
Dude, your next question is, do you? Yeah, do you personally have access to everyone's DMs? You do. I see. And I'm supposed to be worried, I'm really worried about people who've taken an oath to protect the Constitution of the United States and who are acting in a law enforcement capacity and may have to go through the process of getting a warrant. I'm supposed to worry more about them than you, who that doesn't effectively have access to everyone's DMs, has current fucking access.
A lot of well-known people, reporters talking to their sources, government officials, the richest people in the world, they're DMing each other.
No, they're not. If they're stupid.
And the assumption, obviously, it was incorrect, but was that that's private, but that was being read by various.
What is he doing? Is he taking pills? Or there's obviously something going on. They didn't cut to him to show that he's drinking water. They're just, you didn't bother to get an angle on Tucker. Tucker wouldn't sit after the interview to pick up some of these so that you don't have his fucking dome in the head. Where'd he learn how to drink water? From Marco Rubio? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that seems to be, yes.
So, Matt, what are your concerns about that reality and about the escalatory potential?
Oh yeah, that's your first flaw, ma'am. You're asking Matt Taibbi about reality
For AI in this game?
Well, that's very scary. I heard that quote by Elon. We were looking in the.
Yeah, so did we. They just played it. Psst, wrap it up.
Twitter files for a long time.
Yeah, good idea. Drop Twitter files again so people maybe come to the Substack since you can't tweet about it anymore. Why? Why is that again? What?
I can't say that I saw that personally. He's obviously privy to a lot more information than I am.
Yes, he's privy to everyone's DMs. Effectively. Yes, you were.
We saw a couple of hints that the government, in some cases, was requesting access for things like direct messages. And there may have been some specific government agencies that had heightened access to personal data as opposed to others. But we didn't have any direct evidence of that. But certainly.
You don't need it. You're not writing for the New York Times or even Rolling Stone anymore. You don't need direct evidence. You write for Substack. Who gives a shit? Just say it. Have some balls. Make it up, just like Seymour Hersh. Just go with it.
Once you start getting into machine learning, AI, and
yeah, I'm totally into that now. I've been into it for a while. I'm like so into it, the
growing interrelationship of government and
government and artificial intelligence, and I know a lot about artificial intelligence because I talk to Elon Musk all the time, and he is artificially intelligent. So
these tech platforms, I think you're going to find that there's not going to be a whole lot that's private anymore.
Yeah, as a journalist.
I'm supposed to be concerned that my DMs might not in the future be private after Elon Musk bought the fucking place and decided to just hand out any details about accounts that he felt like sharing to anyone. I should be, in the future, I should be concerned that AI might be scouring what I'm saying. An impersonal computer program might target me, but it, worried as it goes.
It becomes scary on that level as too.
Yeah, totally. On so many levels. It's excellent. It's excellent. So many levels. And if you think about it, it goes so much further than it's gone before. And yet, on top of that, if you put these things together, I think you're going to see that it is even, more of a concern than has previously even been if you at that level where you see it. You know what I mean? And slow me down if I'm being too technical.
As well, right? How do you know that you can trust that someone is a real source and not a bot or something that has been fed to you?
Yeah. How do I know I'm not talking to a robot that's smoking a cigarette on the third floor of the Watergate parking lot? How do I know? How do I know that follow the money wasn't just a recording? How do I know that wasn't just a Tesla parked in one of the recharger spots?
That even when you vet it, it appears to be real.
That's a concern, certainly. Another major.
It's never been a concern of his. I'm worried that some of the shit I post might be bullshit some point in the future. I mean, I wasn't worried about that before, bro, but and it happened. I'm kind of used to it. Really, honestly, I'm more worried about being fact checked automatically. That concerns me.
Major concern is, how do you promise a source anonymity? How do you promise to be able to protect them if you're using any kind of electronic communication now, even one that's encrypted? You really can't guarantee that conversation is going to stay just between the two of you. It either has to be in person or you have.
Yeah, it's almost like you got to meet sources and stuff and not just take by rote shit that's digitally sent to you, at the exclusion of other items that may have been included in files digitally and separated out and faked. Gee, I don't know why anybody would want to double check that kind of shit by meeting a source in person. It sounds exhausting. It sounds really exhausting.
Have to not leave a record of it somewhere, and that's also very scary.
So where do you think this leads? I mean, does it, you just...
What do you mean, where does this lead? Robot overlords. Hello?
Said, so that conversation has to be in person. I'm wondering if it sends reporters and journalists back to sort of the old ways of doing things.
Oh my God. Not the old ways of doing things where you had to verify and talk to actual human sources in person and build trust. No, what? You mean I can't be emailed an entirely complete story from God knows what source, perhaps overseas, and paid a small fee to just rubber stamp it on multiple sites? Freedom!
I think we've all become over-reliant on the amazing technologies that have been developed since the internet first burst onto the scene.
Dude,
for
amazing.
Journalists, it's such an amazing...
It's amazing. I think it's amazing. I think it's really, if you could say anything about it, it's amazing. It's really excellent.
Instantaneous research tool that some of us got out of the habit of just talking to ordinary people. We went searching for... for links instead of making phone calls, and steadily we became more and more dependent
on the news you were fed by the very source that was trying to manipulate the narrative. No, that's not. I thought that's... What didn't you guys think that's what he was going to say? I thought that's what he was going to say. That was my bad.
Upon the things that machines can do for us, but that turns out to be a problem in the end. If once you...
Well, I don't know how much. It depends on your taste, really. We're not here to yuck anybody's yum. Many things many things with D batteries can be a problem in the end.
You start getting into AI, you might be able to lose your own autonomy about certain issues, and
yeah, I don't want to lose my autonomy. What about my autonomy? What am I going to do in my autonomy? I'm going to have to get a hobby.
You might be able to lose control of your life, which is certainly something that's happened to people who've fallen afoul of certain algorithms on the internet.
Yep.
Is that what happened? They've fallen afoul of algorithms on the internet, so they have lost their lives, was it? Hold on one second.
Be able to lose your own autonomy about certain issues.
My autonomy, yes, we know
and
that.
You might be able to lose control of your life, which is certainly something that's
lose control of your life, not to mention your bowels.
Happened to people who've fallen afoul of certain algorithms on the internet.
Yep.
What do you mean, yep? Nope.
Matt, I want to ask you about your...
Yeah, I've fallen afoul of that algorithm on the internet that kicks me off when I repeatedly use the N-word while blaming Jews for everything and suggesting that people inject bleach into their testicles to cure a contagious disease. Algorithm. Oh, I hate you, algorithm. Albert Goritham, you bastard.
Sort of open discussion or spat or whatever you want to call it with Elon Musk, because he is...
Spat. Let's go with spat. I think we should call it a spat. Spat's good, right? Spat's all right.
Restricting you or from putting your articles on Twitter because you're also...
That doesn't sound like free speech to me. It sounds like the opposite of free speech. And free enterprise. Sounds like... I don't know. That sounds like antitrust violation to me. I don't know. You can't share links on something like that. I don't know. I'm going to go with he's completely untrustworthy. Not to mention anybody that he would hire to tell his side of a story. Both of those people must be full of shit.
Putting them on Substack, who he sees as a competitor.
Well, it's certainly substandard, I think. I'm sorry. That was rude. True, but rude.
What do you want people to understand about that?
Yeah, tell us what you want us to understand.
I think this is a misunderstanding. I mean,
yeah, we're bros, we're buddies, we're good. Everything's sweet. I mean, I got mad and stuff, but whatever.
I was working at Substack when I was a Substack contributor when I started doing the Twitter.
Yeah, I think that's a better, rephrase that, because no one works at Substack. You contribute maybe to Substack, but let's not call it work. And certainly not the way you do it. Come on.
Twitter files. I feel like I'm caught in the middle of a dispute between two companies.
I'm caught in a trap. I can't walk out, 'cause I lose Substack for you, baby.
Companies. I like Elon a lot. I think he's got
moxie, a
lot of good qualities, and I think
he's got a lot of good qualities. Would I swipe right again? Probably not.
A tremendous thing for the public in opening up the Twitter files.
He didn't. He selectively handed out shit to you to guarantee a certain telling of a narrative. You didn't have full access. You got files through a third party. Fuck off.
For the population to see.
By the way, he was the third party. He called himself a third party.
See, I hope he continues doing that. You know, if he's not happy with me, there's lots of other journalists who can do that job.
There's actually journalists who could do that job. Well, they couldn't do that job, obviously, because that would make them no longer a journalist and now a propagandist. So that throws a monkey wrench in the whole thing. I don't even... Shit.
But it's unfortunate because I think
it's unfortunate.
You know, this whole situation, people learned a lot. A lot of things that they would never have learned without him making that very, very significant decision.
But if he's shutting,
no, they didn't. The Twitter files have been a massive fucking dud. A lot of accusations. No, they're there. Boring as fuck. And every single one of them buried in it is, well, both sides did it a little bit, and the one, whatever. Like,
you down, do you think that
when the FBI asked for something, could Twitter say no? Yeah. Well, then there is no control. You only have control when when you make the decisions for the other person. If they can go, fuck you, nah, not interested. If they can do that, you don't have control. And in that case, they are like every other fucking business in the world. Anybody get, if a police officer goes, do you mind if I look in your bag? You can say yes, or you can go, do you have a warrant? I would like to see one. What are you looking for? What does this do? You have both those options. That police officer is not in control of you. If he tries to force himself into that situation, you have rights against that in this country. You do. You should use them.
He is the proponent of free speech that he purports to be.
Then why is he keeping you on the substack?
Well, that's clearly problematic, right? I mean, I
Totally.
think that's one of the things I feel saddest about is
It's sad. It is sad. I feel I'm emotional. I feel myself getting sad. I do.
that it undermines the argument, that we need free speech across the internet.
It does.
When the person who identified initially as the proponent of free speech is blocking somebody because they're part of a commercial dispute.
Hi. No, the argument that we need free speech on the internet has nothing to do with people who fail at living up to their end of that belief. The Constitution, and the Constitution isn't a play here. This is a fucking private business that people use for free and at the whim of whoever owns it. Always has been. This public utility horse shit is lazy and dumb. But saying that because Elon Musk is full of shit, that the argument that we need free speech across the internet is fundamentally weak is just dumb.
Or for some other reason. People see that. I actually think the algorithmic censorship is much more dangerous and much more severe. But
because it's fact-checking will be its primary thing, and that scares the shit out of you? Weird.
These individual instances of sort of cartoon censorship are what people are going to pay attention to.
All right.
Cartoon censorship. Yeah, that's what happened when Elon Musk kicked him off of Twitter because he's in a business dispute with Substack over their notes feature, which is he sees as a competitor to Twitter, which, by the way, Facebook is coming up with its own Twitter killer, and it probably will work. It will probably have some of the features of Instagram that people like and a couple of TikTok-y-like features, and then a few words, and keep it really, clean, and you can have, 4 different UI, you can overlay a UI on it to make it look like whatever the fuck you want it to look like. It's probably how it's going to play out. And if it isn't, I'll do it. But that's him being kicked off of Twitter for simply trying to post his articles is a cartoon version of censorship. Don't take that seriously. But the doling out of selected information by a guy pretending it's all about free speech to a sycophantic dickhead who will write who has already written in his head what the answer will be before he even sees the details. We shouldn't worry about that. That's not big. These are, I don't know why I'm concerned. What was I thinking? What were you thinking? Were we thinking at all? Who can say?